Welcome to the CryptoSpace Stadium. In the blue corner, he's sneaky, he's hidden. He keeps your money safe. His favorite color is black, and he vacations in the shadows. It's the private key. And in the red corner, he's giving out weird coded messages to the crowd, looking at the crowd intently, and he's got no pants on. It's the public key.
Yeah, this should be a good match, and they're both unknown quantities.
I think so too, Brett. Wait, what are they doing?
It appears they're approaching each other with their gloves down.
But they're shaking hands. What's going on?
Now they're having a chat?
Wait, where the hell did that table and chairs come from?
They appear to be having a cup of tea together?
Well, thank God for that. They have both been disqualified.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for this match. It was supposed to be a knockout round.
Next time at the CryptoSpace Stadium, a rematch. Bitcoin versus Litecoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin won the last round, so it's definitely Litecoin's match to win.
On a side note, how do I get my cryptocurrency back if it's a tie?
It'll just revert back to your private key.
Oh, cool. Okay. Where's that?
On with the show! Welcome to WTF is CryptoSpace. I'm Brett.
And I'm Chad.
This podcast is all about the crypto space.
Remember, you can find our Facebook group by searching WTF is CryptoSpace. If you join that group, we can continue the conversation there and answer any questions you have during the week.
And review this podcast and give it a 5-star rating on iTunes. And if you are on YouTube, hit that like button. It would really help us out.
Smack! Also, Brett's Twitter handle is WTF CryptoSpace, and mine is Chad Shuttle Muso.
We now have over 900 downloads, Chad.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you to all the subscribers and downloaders who have joined us this week.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, and a special shout out to our highest represented town this week, Chad. That's Selma in North Carolina, with a total population of 6,039 people.
Shout out, history lesson, town specific. Anyway, so we're going to start with our first section today, guys. Our first section of the podcast. We all love it. You love it. We all love it. It's fuck.
And Chad, what does fuck stand for?
Frequently asked questions.
Well, before you start, Chad, the crypto space is not a Wild West. And I just wanted to point out a couple of things. It's really a grown-up world. Mm-hmm. You see, the biggest thing about the crypto space is it's about getting clearer on how to protect your assets going forward. Guys, be vigilant. It is your money.
That is a very good thing to say and good thing to think about. All right, so the first question we have today, Brett, is what is a crypto wallet?
Well, I'm going to give it a crack.
Okay, cool.
Crypto space wallets store their private keys that you need to access a cryptocurrency address and spend your funds.
Spending your funds. Cool. Yep.
Okay. So they come in different forms, and we're going to go through them in a moment, I'm sure.
Yes.
Designed for different types of devices. You can even use a paper storage to avoid having them on a computer at all. Of course, it's very important to secure and back up your CryptoSpace wallet.
Very cool. All right. So how can I store my CryptoSpace currencies?
That is a good question. Here we go. You've got a paper wallet.
Paper wallet.
Okay. You've got a hardware wallet.
Hardware wallet.
You've got a mobile wallet.
That's like my normal wallet?
For your mobile phone.
Oh, okay. I was just my wallet is already mobile. Yep.
Your desktop wallet.
Yep.
And your online wallet. Not to be confused with your desktop wallet.
Okay. Because one's online and one's offline. Nice. And then one's a paper thingy, and then one's not a paper thingy. All right. The next question is, what is a public key?
All right. So a public key, Chad, is a cryptographic key. Mm-hmm. It's protected by cryptography. And it can be obtained and used by anyone to encrypt messages. Okay. So it's intended for a particular recipient, such that an encrypted message can be deciphered only by using a second key that is known only to the recipient, which happens to be called a private key.
Private key.
And that's a bit like a BSB or account number.
Okay,
cool. To give you a bit of an example.
Oh, that's good, Brett. Thank you so much for that. So what is the private key then?
Okay, so a private key is longer. It's the longer one of the two. Okay, so when it's used to generate a signature for each blockchain transaction a user sends out. So this signature is used to confirm that the transaction has come from the particular user, and it also prevents the transaction from being altered by anyone it has been issued to. Okay, so in short, you sign the cryptocurrency you send to others using a private key. It's like your electronic signature, but far more private and far more powerful. You'll be able to do away with private signatures. So if someone were to obtain your private key, they would essentially be able to send your cryptocurrencies to themselves. Okay? Right. It's not stealing if you gave it away.
Right.
So verifying that the transaction with the private key, that would sort of be in effect.
Yeah.
Like stealing from you.
So yeah, if they verify the transaction with, so if they would, but the thing is about that is you can actually track it always where your money is, and you can always see from your end. A bank, it takes a bank to go and find out who stole your credit card details and using them, right? But in this, you can actually see it.
That's why I was mentioning about the adult world before. I was sort of saying that there is no bank. You are your own bank manager. So therefore, you're the one who has to be in charge of the keys.
So don't lose your keys is like the basic part of this whole thing is please don't lose your keys. And, if you're going to write them down, keep them safe, keep them away from, act as if it's in the chemical cupboard, keep them away from your children as well. Well, thank you for that, Brett. The next section of the podcast is what we like to call In the News.
Yeah, Chad, I was getting ready for this one, and I thought I'd look along the lines of hacks and how that relates to keys, okay? Which is what we're talking about tonight. Today.
Whenever this podcast is. Whenever you're listening to this podcast is when we are recording.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Good night, thank you.
See, I managed to drop that one in.
That was good.
So a hacker stole $31 million of Ether. However, it's one of those things that when you look at these sort of situations, often people misinterpret what has actually happened. See, it says something like yesterday a hacker pulled off the second largest heist in history of digital currencies. 31 million and then there was $180 million of vulnerable wallets. It always seems like these are coming round in cycles.
Yes.
But I do want to set... Well, go.
Well, I think it's good to tell everyone, you got to remember that there's Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dashcoin, Monero, and 99% of all cryptocurrencies have actually never been hacked themselves, right? It's more a platform thing.
Yeah, you make a really good point, Chad. And look, the thing is that for some people in this article, it sort of really does set off some alarm bells because, and this is, run with me here a little, but a group of benevolent white hat hackers, so white hat being the good guys, right?
The good guys, apparently, yeah.
From the Ethereum community, rapidly organized themselves, and they analyzed the attack and realized that there was no way to reverse the thefts. Oh. So what they did was they actually went along and hacked every other one of the wallets.
Right.
Took all the money.
Right.
Once the whole theft of the 180 million had happened, they then put it all back.
Wow. So they hacked into not the blockchain, not the cryptocurrencies, but the wallets themselves, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
And so then, what I thought I'd look at is, I thought, okay, well, Ethereum's not immune, so let's have a look at Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Ethereum's not alone.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at Bitcoin. Because, look, to many Bitcoin non-users, it might seem like every month there's a Bitcoin heist.
That's true. And actually, you've collated a top 10 list. Well, you haven't. Someone else had. But there's a top 10 list of the biggest, Bitcoin heists, right? Biggest hacks.
Yeah, and look, we will put the links below, but I love this site. This is called Nubium.
Nubium.
As in, if you're new into this area, into the crypto space, it always is good to do a little bit of homework, as we point out before you
every
put
time.
Your first dollar
Please
in.
research. Do some research. Just don't take it our mouth and our words and that are coming to your ear holes. Don't just take us for truth. Do some research. You wouldn't buy a house without research in the area. Don't buy cryptocurrency without researching anything.
Look, and see, although in reality to the sort of situation is that normal fiat banks are actually targeted more often and more frequently than anything from the Bitcoin community.
That's true, because it doesn't take any technical skill. It just takes a bunch of guns and the want to go to prison.
But even the electronic way, Chad.
Oh, that's true.
Look, Mt. Gox was probably the most significant one that people know.
Looking at this, it was 850,000 Bitcoins were stolen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Value of $500 million.
Yeah, and see, the thing is that this is what you got to understand, that this was a cold wallet. So we mentioned about our wallets before.
Yeah.
This is a hard wallet, which is offline, which means someone flogged it.
Yeah, and it says here it was an inside job, which someone had to connect a computer to the servers. Is that right?
No, let's say, for example, it might have been on a paper wallet.
Yep.
Or it might have been on a signature account that only had limited signatures. They just walked out with the code.
Wow.
And this is the big thing that I want to point out, is that no one stole Bitcoin.
Right.
Bitcoin didn't go anywhere.
Right.
The key is, as people sort of look at this, they always think, oh, someone lost their hard drive and they lost all their Bitcoin. No, they just lost the access code.
Yeah,
They just lost their keys, their private and public keys.
Which I've lost my keys before, and Rachel's had to find them, but this is beyond her capabilities as a wife, because this is on my phone, or it's on, if it's a piece of paper, it can be easily stolen or burnt or lost or put in my car and driven over. If it's
And one of the safe ways to look at it, Chad, is like anything. When you're studying, you say, okay, back up your files, make sure you've got some, a spare copy of your homework.
Hell yes.
These things is things that you've got to be careful of. Well, the same goes. When you're looking at this, you probably want to make a backup of your copy. Now, if you are really, really awesome and you think you can remember it, and don't get me wrong, some people might be able to. If we take Andreas Antonopoulos as example, and brilliant thinker in the area, and definitely someone to check out his YouTube channel. You could quite literally write your public key on a wall, and people could just contribute funds to their wallet, right?
Now, is that public or private?
That's a public key, because obviously we want to just give out the BSB and account number. We don't want to give everybody our public key.
Right. So could I just put it out there for, say, people like mum and dad who are listening? Hi, mum and dad. So my private key is kind of like my credit card number, but my public key is kind of like my BSB and account number.
Absolutely.
Okay, that makes total sense to me.
Absolutely. And look, the model that is used with any of these cryptocurrencies is a distributed access point, which really brings down the risk of anybody attacking one big honeypot worth of money, because you would need to attack the entire system in order to sort of get access to the funds.
So this is just mumbo jumbo again, for the fact that it's really, really hard if you diversify your Bitcoins and your wallets and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. And look, let me just leave you with this thought, Chad.
Okay.
If someone was to access your codes, okay, then they would get access to your money. If they were accessing your private key, they would get access to your funds, and they could transfer them. But the network itself, as soon as the first person steals Bitcoin, their Bitcoin becomes worthless.
Right.
So everybody's Bitcoin becomes worthless. So the system is designed that everybody wants to continue to support it, because if they got caught hacking that particular exchange, they would automatically lose the value of the cryptocurrency they held.
Yeah, wow.
Therefore deterring people from wanting to hack it in general.
Yeah, wow. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Well, that's a lot of things to chew over and mull over, but I think that we've covered a bit tonight. Well, guys, thanks so much for listening. Like us once, comment twice, and share the link of this podcast on your social medias and websites. Remember, you can always tweet Brett at WTF CryptoSpace, and you can always ask me questions at Chad Shuttle Muso.
Remember, review this podcast and give it 5 stars on iTunes. Or if you use YouTube, hey, hit that like button.
Whack!
It really encourages us to continue to create podcasts for your listening pleasure.
Also, click subscribe to this podcast to get your weekly podcast updates from us knuckleheads, and you'll get it in your podcast feed every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. But until next time, I'm Chad.
And I'm Brett.
Let's get excited about the crypto space.
The transition has begun.
My cryptocurrency is in a glass case of emotion.
Help, help, I'm in a glass case of emotion.
How did I get into this? I'm now crossing the streams. All right, I'm stopping it now.